Alright, let's continue our discussion for the 21st century work readiness. Okay, now let's have a bit of a recall. Okay, what is 21st century skills? Okay, so the 21st century skills refers to a broad set of knowledge or aspects on training as well as on work. Okay, it is a broad set of knowledge, skills, work habits, and character traits believed to be critically important to success in today's world, particularly in contemporary careers and workplaces, especially on skilled jobs such as what we are training right now, bread and pastry production, or as well it can also apply to cookery and other qualifications that is TESDA is providing us. Okay, so we have critical thinking, creativity and innovation, communication, collaboration and teamwork, problem solving, information technology, personal and career development, lifelong learning, resilience, productivity, social skills, entrepreneurship, and leadership. Now, as part of our group activity, okay, I want you all to okay, collaborate or cooperate with your teams and just simply explain these aspects, okay, from critical thinking up to leadership. Okay, so in your own words, try to explain um, how we will be able to integrate this 21st century um, broad set of knowledge, skills, and work habits into our training. So, paano natin sila magagamit? Okay? So, you do not have to worry. You can present it in English or Tagalog, okay, or Taglish, kung saan po kayo komportable. Okay? Now, I'll give you 30 minutes. I know, I'll give you 20 minutes to discuss with your group. After 20 minutes, magpe-present po kayo. Okay? Now, while preparing for that with your group, okay, let's continue. Now, why 21st century skills is important for training and employment outcomes. Okay, in the 21st century, we are a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, okay, for the or VUCA world, okay. When we say VUCA, that's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So where changes in technology is constant and learning never stops. As we all know, in terms of technology, very fast-paced ang yung tech transfer natin, okay. So it's very constant. In layman's term, para mas mabilis natin maintindihan, di ba ang mga cellphones natin, for example, sa mga cellphones natin, every 6 months or every year, may mga bagong lumalabas. Okay? Or may mga bagong technology or applications na lumalabas that we can actually practically use for us to be able to work smart. Okay? Economies and marketplaces change quicker with every passing year or sometimes with every passing day. Okay? COVID-19 pandemic changes the labor market landscape, which is actually drastic yung pagkaka-change ng global pandemic na ito. Okay? So, from face-to-face, nagkaroon ng ibang modalities of teaching, even yung trading, nagkaroon ng malaking change. Okay? Now, we are facing fourth IR challenges. Okay? When we say fourth IR, that's Industrial Revolution. Okay? Where fusion of the online world and the world industrial production is taking place. So there will be an increase in job automation and artificial intelligence, which we are actually using right now. most of the students are using artificial or AI or ChatGPT, okay, for them to be able to um, work smart. However, there are also some cons in using artificial intelligence. Now, over the next decade, millions of existing jobs will disappear. Advancement and innovations in technology across industries will create new roles for human beings. Okay. Um, Actually, we'll um, in the fourth industrial revolutions here in the Philippines, nasa mga third industrial revolution pa lang tayo. Or fourth, kasi we're training right now for 21st century, but other neighboring countries nasa sixth IR na sila, or industrial revolution. Now, if you'll notice on the advancement and innovation of technology across the industries, to cite an example, um, sa mga fast food natin like Jollibee or McDonald's, di ba meron na tayong mga kiosk for orders, yung parang malaking iPad, dun tayo nag-order. Okay, even in Western countries such as New Zealand or Australia, doon na talaga nag-order. Wala nang counter na kayo nag-accept ng cash. So, in the future, maybe 5 years from now, mawawalan na ng kahera kasi everything will be contactless and online na yung mga transactions. Even naman sa mga highways natin, high-speed highways natin, sa mga motorways natin such as NLEX, di ba? Everything is automated. Okay, so again, a lot of jobs won't exist in the next 5 or 10 years. Okay, now education and training institutions, industries, employers, and government and private sectors policymakers worldwide all agree that every worker entering the labor market must have 21st century skills if they are to thrive, adapt, and succeed in a technological environment that keeps on emerging and ever-changing. Okay? So, ibig sabihin nito, we must be able to learn and apply the 21st century skills kasi yan na yung hinahanap ng world market natin. Okay? Again, tandaan po natin kung kahit gaano kayo kagaling in terms of baking, cooking, or to whatever qualifications that you are taking right now, okay, if you are talented or highly skilled, baliwala po yan if you do not have the right attitude towards work. Okay? Next, the National Technical Education and Skills Development Plan for 2018 to 2022. Okay, a vibrant quality TVET for decent work and sustainable inclusive growth. TVET for global competitiveness and workforce readiness and social equity and poverty reduction. Okay, so here are the development plan for the government to alleviate poverty. Okay, and also to alleviate unemployment. Okay, para yung maging part ulit tayo ng society to contribute to the society and also to the economy. Okay, here's the competency standards. Now, kung mapapansin nyo, on our slide for 21st century skills, the basic competencies integrated with 21st century skills. Now, for NC1, okay, you have receive and respond to workplace communication. Now, for NC Level 2 or National Certificate Level 2, instead of receive and respond to workplace communication, it's participate in workplace communication. Okay? So, medyo nag-level up siya. So, here are the standards of competencies for your basic and meron pa tayong kasunod na common competencies. Now, let's discuss the units of competencies for National Certificate Level 2 because you are taking Level 2 National Certificate. Okay, so you have your participate in workplace communication, work in team environment. Okay, so yan yung cooperation ninyo. You should be able to practically cooperate, collaborate with your colleagues or teammates. Okay, so what are the importance of collaboration and cooperation? Okay, in terms of cooperation, mas mabilis natin mapapa or ma-achieve yung task na ginagawa natin. Now, in participate in workplace communication, you should be always communicating with your colleagues. Okay? Hindi pwede yung tahimik lang kayo or idea mo lang yung nasusunod. Okay? So, you should have an open communication for you to be able to work together closely and achieve your goals. Now, solve address general workplace problems. Now, through communication and collaboration or working in a team environment or cooperation, you would be able to address general workplace problems by, okay, first, citing and also accepting that there is a problem. Okay, so you would be able to have a resolution to your problem. Okay, now, develop career and life decisions. Okay, so just also focus on career development, okay, as well as um, contribute to workplace innovation. Okay, always remember to think outside of the box, innovate. Okay, update and upgrade your industry knowledge for you to be able to again innovate and provide resolutions to your problem. If you'll notice, all these units of competencies are integrated, okay, and also they are interconnected, okay. Hindi pwedeng mawala yung isa or hindi pwedeng mabawasan or hindi pwedeng madagdagan. Magkakarugtong silang lahat, okay. Now, since all of the units of competencies are integrated or interconnected, with this, you can practically sustain your career or career progression through the units of competencies of TESDA. Kasi hindi lang naman siya may apply sa work. You can also apply it in your family, with your friends, this unit of competencies. Actually, ginagamit na natin siya, hindi lang natin namamalayan since hindi natin alam yung standards. Okay? So, everyday ginagamit na natin siya. If you'll notice, pag lumabas kayo ng bahay, pag nasa bahay or nasa loob kayo ng bahay, pag nagluto kayo ng family or naglinis kayo ng mesa pagkatapos nyo kumain, you are already participating in your workplace. Okay? Nag-uusap kayo. You are also doing cooperation. Okay? You also address general problems within your family. Okay? Diba? You provide workplace innovation or you provide solution or resolution to problems. Okay? Next, present relevant information. Practice occupational safety and health policies and procedure. It is very important to always practice safety in terms of work. Exercise efficient and effective sustainable practices in the workplace. Okay. Practice entrepreneurial skills in the workplace. Okay. So these are the basic competencies under integrated with 21st century skills. Okay, di ba napakadali lang. Okay. It's very memorable kasi ginagawa nyo naman na siya. Now, for the TESDA Circular number 19, series of 2019, implementing guidelines on the newly promulgated amended competency standards for basic competencies integrated with 21st century skills. So here are the important provisions. Okay, to note, the amended competency standards for basic competencies integrated with 21st century skills is a prerequisite for all training delivery for all technical vocational education training qualifications or programs. Number two, The National TVET Trainers Academy or NTTA shall conduct capability building programs for trainers to ensure that the amended basic competencies integrated with 21st century skills are articulated in the training delivery during the implementation of the TVET programs. Okay, now again, as part of your activity, okay, diba earlier you have your activity for um, again the 21st century mga elements and factors that we should be able to have for us to compete in the real world. Now, this 21st century skills basic competencies that we've discussed earlier, you have your communication or collaboration and teamwork, you have your learning and innovation, critical thinking and problem solving, entrepreneurship, environment literacy, information technology, lifelong learning and career development, and OHS or occupational health and safety. Okay, here's the difference between NC level 1 and NC level 2. Okay, basic competencies. Okay. Okay, now let's continue. EDC and TESDA collaboration activities on life skills curriculum and 21st century skills, life skills training for learners, life skills training for community technology or community training employment coordinators, master trainers. Okay, now if you'll notice, um, this module is for multiplying a multiplier for trainers. Okay, however, we also use this module to practically discuss with our trainees kasi during trainees you should be able to practically apply the basic and common competencies that is TESDA, what is TESDA is looking for, as well as the core competencies. Okay, so as we go along, we'll be discussing the core competencies for your qualification. Okay. Again, Opportunity 2.0 is a 1.9 billion US dollars or 1.9 billion pesos or 37.5 million US dollars program funded by the United States Agency for International Development or USAID that will improve education, employment, and livelihood outcomes for youth across 12 cities in the Philippines until 2025. It is implemented by Education Development Center or EDC in collaboration with the Department of Education, Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESDA, local government units or LGU, private sector and program partners, Simeo Inutech, Philippine Business for Education, Voluntary Services Overseas or VSO, Accenture, and Catholic Relief Services or CRS. Okay, do you have any questions, clarifications? Okay, just put it on the chat box and we will be discussing it. Okay, let's have a quick overview with the alignment of TES's competency-based learning material. So again, yung CBLM or competency-based learning material ninyo or modules ninyo for learning this qualification such as bread and pastry or cookery, ang ginagamit natin is Genomio or Google Classroom para meron kayong easy access for your learning materials. Okay, your competency standards, basic competencies. Okay. So this is very important for you to have critical thinking and problem solving. Okay, you should be empowered to think as well as to solve your problems on your own. na hindi tayo nagre-rely sa colleagues or sa inyong mga bosses. Communication unit of competency, lifelong learning, career skills, occupational health and safety. Okay, here's the basic competencies. Again, communication, collaboration, teamwork, critical thinking, problem solving, lifelong learning and career development, learning and innovation, information technology, occupational health and safety, environmental literacy, and entrepreneurship. Okay. Okay, please wait a moment. All right. Okay. Now for the continuation or key topics here, we'll be discussing about okay, the follow routine spoken messages, listen, speak, and respond to workplace communication. Again, when we say workplace communication, babalik tayo sa discussion during your earlier days in school for your oral com or oral communication, which you have your speaker or sender, you also have your receiver. Okay, the speaker is the one who's speaking or saying any form of information, and the receiver is the person who is receiving. Okay? At darating din tayo sa listening skills and passive listening as well. Okay? So basically, dito, you should always listen and understand. Okay? Para hindi po humaba yung discussion natin. Okay? So, it's common sense lang po. When someone is speaking, you should always listen and understand. So, when you listen and understand, you will be able to reply or respond properly. So, there are verbal and nonverbal form of communication, effective speaking skills and strategies, effective listening skills and strategies, effective questioning strategies, forms of communication, verbal, electronic, writing, and a lot more. Examples of effective listening skills include using appropriate body language to show you are listening, listening without interrupting, asking questions for clarification when you do not understand something, which is actually very important. Nonverbal communication affects how people perceive and understand each other. For example, not making eye contact, looking down, might be perceived as somebody not being confident or honest. Okay, di ba kapag hindi naka-eye to eye contact sa atin or pag malikot yung mata, that person is not sincere. Okay, so when giving or receiving instructions on performing a task, it is important to give clear, detailed instructions, to ask questions for clarification to make sure you have understood the instruction. Okay, very important to give or to receive instructions. Now, kapag hindi clear yung instructions, you always ask your trainer. Okay, especially inside the kitchen. If you are unsure or uncertain of something, especially if you are opening the oven, okay, kung mag-iignite tayo ng oven, okay, if you are uncertain, hindi kayo sure, okay, there's a doubt, okay, always remember when in doubt, pag hindi kayo sure, always ask your trainer, okay, we do not want to have any form of accidents inside the kitchen. You should always, or we should always, practice occupational health and safety procedures and always practice safety inside the kitchen. Now we have read and write. Read and write icon requires the participant to read the text and answer questions. So on your learning materials online, such as your Google Meet and Google Classroom rather, or Genomio, you will see this icons. So, ang ibig sabihin niyan, read and write. Ito naman, think or reflect. Quick reflection on your own about what you read and write. Dialogue. Also, because we have our GC or group chat, you can easily um, communicate and have a dialogue with our colleagues and our trainers. Key facts presents information to read about the topics, exercises, application or tasks. Think about encourages you to express your opinions to family and friends about the topic, because whatever we've discussed in during the training, you could always encourage your friends and family to discuss about it and get their opinions, and so that you can also practice critical thinking and as well as communication and collaboration. Sharing and caring encourages you to share your output to family and friends. Okay, whatever you learn during the training, again, tandaan po natin, knowledge is meant to be shared. Okay, hindi po yan tinatago. Okay, which among the parts do you think is easy for you to practically apply? Okay, how can we support your training? What are the difficult parts in the 21st century? Okay. Do you have any questions, clarifications? Okay.